Welcome back to Coffee and Conversation. So, here, let me show you. I have a bad boy in my lap. He has been in a very affectionate mood lately. Strange, but affectionate. So he's been looking for love every time I turn. Yes, I know. I hear you purr. I don't know if they do, but I can hear it. Every time I turn around, the cat's trying to jump in my lap. But he's also acquired this new habit. This is a couple of months. He has been licking the water out of the toilet bowl. Now, mind you, this is the same cat who used to look down his nose at the dog who would lick out of the toilet bowl. You know, and the cat would just be sitting there saying, "Ooh, what a pig." And now he's doing it. He likes bathroom water. He's always wanted me to turn the bathroom faucet on for him, and he will come into the shower with me. In fact, I have to make sure that my shampoo and my body soaps are non-toxic because he will lick the water from the bottom, just, you know, soapy and whatever else is in there. And he'll just, all right, you need to watch that tail. Whatever it is, he will just get right into the shower with me. The water will be pouring down on his little cat head, and meanwhile, he will be licking up bubbles. Not sure what that's all about, because he does have his own drinking water. It's in the dog's bowl, because when we have the dog with us, he used to love to steal her water. He would occasionally steal her food, too. He wouldn't eat it. He'd just take a bit of kibble out of the dish and walk off with it, just so the dog knew who was really in charge. But he always went after her water. I could give him water right next to his food dish. I could let him steal it out of an old coffee pot. I kept an old coffee pot on the kitchen counter because he liked to steal water out of that. His favorite spot was always the dog's bowl. So he's got water. He's got little water caches all over the house. But now we're licking out of the toilet bowl. I think he's become eccentric in his old age. So that's it for my Audie news. And we did get a little bit of Audie. So we are going to break for the intro. We'll be back in a few seconds, and we'll just get right into things. So I had to start this video before I was actually prepared to, because Audie just hijacked the camera, as he does from time to time. So let me get started with, I am wearing my holiday sweater. And I actually like this. It is comfortable, it is warm, but it was not exactly one of my best buys. Mostly because there's only a very narrow window in which I can wear a sweater like this that is so obviously wintry. Yeah, December, January, but by February, no, it's really time to pack it away. I didn't consider that when I bought it. I just saw it and said, "Ooh, pretty soft, warm, mine," without realizing that I probably spent on the high end for what I usually pay for sweaters. I think this was in the $50 range, which when you stop and consider it is a lot for a sweater like this. But regardless, I'm determined to get my money's worth while I can, because I just wasn't thinking practically when I bought it. If I had been, I would have said, that's a December sweater. And maybe if I'm lucky, I can stretch it out into a December, January sweater. But yeah, Valentine's Day rolls around, it's got to be packed away. So I am wearing the holiday sweater because I thought we would talk about holidays. Obviously, it's December. Christmas is coming up, but it's not the only holiday this time of year. And a lot of these holidays are celebrated with gatherings of family and friends, and they can be very stressful for many of us. They can also be pretty darn depressing for some of us as well. And that's not just because of the holiday, but a lot of times people's seasonal affect disorder will kick in. The lower levels of sunlight and producing depression. All right, we've got a cat. Yes, I don't have to worry about depression because I've got a cat. And I would say anybody who has trouble with low moods, get yourself a cat, because it's very hard to be unhappy when a cat is trying to crawl into your lap. And I'm having the worst time just trying not to laugh over this, because yeah, Audie has found, I don't know if you can see, there is a ray of sunshine coming in, and he is just basking in it. So yeah, get yourself a cat. Anyway, back to our topic. I started doing a bit of research on Christmas hacks and cheats and little tips and tricks people use in order to take the edge off the worst of the holiday chaos. And I thought we would talk about this. I would share it with you. Now, I've got 10 of them, mostly because, hey, 10, good number. And I do tend to think in round numbers. But I've tried to organize them in a sort of logical flow. So, let me start with the first holiday tip. Consider giving consumables. Now, I do this every year. I will give gift cards when I can, mostly because I was raised to believe that it was just tacky to give people cash money. It's a stupid, just a little bugbear from my childhood, but it stayed with me. So now I give gift cards instead. Same basic principle. The reason I do it is because people have different tastes. And I know I have very, very peculiar tastes. I might like one thing. You give me something almost exactly like it and I can't stand it because it just didn't tick the right boxes in my head for some reason. And I always figured, the rest of the world is probably just like me in this regard, although I'm sure they're not. But I would rather give somebody something they can use, something that will bring some degree of pleasure into their lives, something positive, even if that pleasure is nothing more than here is a gift card, use it to help make your car payment. That's fine with me, because I really don't care what people do with those gift cards. They can use the gift card to do their own Christmas shopping for somebody else. As long as it adds some benefit to their life, I am happy. Otherwise, I would probably be going out, getting them something that I think they're going to like. I mean, I'm hoping they're going to like it. But, you know, it's in the back of a closet somewhere, and they're thinking to themselves, I really don't want to keep this, but it was a gift, so I have to. So my gift is a burden instead of a benefit. Consumables completely negates that whole what to get people and will they like it conundrum. Because you can get people all kinds of things. Gift baskets, candy, flowers. Everybody loves a nice floral arrangement. They don't have to store it. It will serve its purpose. It will bring them joy and happiness in the moment. And then, when the holiday season is over, they just throw the dead plant away. Consumables, you know, you get them candy, they throw the empty box away. But there are a lot of different kinds of consumables. You can sign someone up for a subscription, like, you know, Gem of the Month Club, or something seasonal, like theater tickets, if they're in an area with theaters. I'm in the Northeast, so we are. Or hockey tickets. It's winter. A lot of people are sporty. If you know what people like, and in general, we do have some sense of what our friends like. We do know if they are theater goers or hockey fans at the very least. You can get something that will give them pleasure, but won't force them to clean out a spot in the corner of the living room to store it, or force them to go through that decluttering process we all do, saying, oh yeah, I got this gift and I really don't want it. So I would say, yeah, this is one of the better tips I have come across. So consider it. I did that for Jane, and I have to be careful. I don't know if she watches these videos, but if she does, I'm going to have to be careful about what I say. But I decided to get her a gift basket this year because Jane and her husband are in their late 80s. People in their late 80s have everything they want. This is not a stage in their lives when they are saying, yes, we are accumulating furniture for the living room. No. So people in my age group usually don't have needs per se. It's more like wants. So I found a gift basket from a very nice company, and I hope she will enjoy it. That's what I'm doing for Jane. For other people, just gift cards. Let them buy what they want. And like I say, even if they use it to pay the light bill, at least I've brought some benefit into their life on the holiday seasons. So if you're planning to entertain over the holidays, another tip is make a movie list. People have their favorite Christmas movies, and we all have them. It's like, if I don't get to see It's a Wonderful Life, it's not really Christmas. And the kids have the little Santa Claus and Santa Elf and whatever. There was a Tim Allen, I think that was called The Santa Claus. Kids have their own little favorite holiday movies, but everyone has them. And if you're planning on entertaining, find out if your friends and family are bringing small children, do they have little favorite movies? Do your friends and family have favorite movies? Are they like me and they're going to be looking for It's a Wonderful Life, or they're going to be miserable? But do that in advance, because you can do this with streaming services. You can do this with video rentals, or DVD rentals, I guess. There are many, many ways to prep a holiday, Christmas, whatever, your holiday of choice, movie list, and have it ready. This is especially important if you have relatives with small children, because little kids get crazy bored in other people's houses, unless, of course, you have a cat. So consider getting a cat. But the kids need something to do. They need something to occupy themselves, and Christmas movies are great. A lot of us, well, I'm not a kid, and I still do have my short list of Christmas movies I want to see every year. So consider the Christmas movie list. It can make it a lot easier to occupy people, especially small children, when the adults might be interested in doing something different. Think about sending e-cards instead of paper Christmas cards here. Do we have this? Yes, because I am sort of a Christmas card person. So yes, I do like sending Christmas cards, but I always find that by the time I hit this time of year, I have so many people overseas, and as always, I did not prepare in advance. Now, sending Christmas cards overseas is something you really have to start doing around the middle of November, because it's not as easy as just dig out that book of stamps, because they will require more postage. You have to go to the post office, get the stamps. It can be production to send Christmas cards overseas, and I never get that going in time. Never. Which should probably go on my list. Get your Christmas cards started in November and not wait until the last minute. But e-cards are a great solution. After all, the point of a Christmas card is simply to reach out to friends and family, people you don't see very often. Sometimes these are people we don't even know. They are like our Facebook friends or our social media contacts, and say, it's a holiday and I'm thinking about you. So, does it have to be a tangible paper card? No. And e-cards these days are so easy. There are so many e-card services. Just Google it and you will get a long list, marvelous choices. You can get funny cards, you can get sentimental cards, you can get religious cards, you can get generic cards, whatever you're looking for. So give it some thought, because it can be a strain to have to go to the post office with a stack of cards and send them out like that. So it can save you some time, save you some hassle, and take a little bit of stress off your plate. And that's what this whole video is about. Let's take some stress off the plate. Let's make the holidays a little easier and a little less, well, dreadful is the word that comes to mind, but in the real sense of dreadful, as in full of dread, as in dreading the next day, because there are so many things you're afraid you're forgetting. If you're in the habit of doing entertaining over the holidays, try to make a point of getting a couple of extra generic Christmas presents. And by the way, forgive me if you're not a Christmas celebrator. This is not intended to be in any way religious. I'm just falling into some familiar habits. That's all. One of my brothers would often show up without notice. I mean, we'd find out an hour before he was arriving that he was in the state and he was planning to stop by. And he would frequently bring friends, people that he knew would be alone for Christmas. And he would bring them. I always went out of my way to make sure I had extra presents, just so that they could have something too. They weren't necessarily expensive gifts, and they were very generic because I would never know who it was showing up. But those little generic Christmas gifts saved my butt on so many occasions. And the great thing about them is because you're getting something generic, it doesn't have to go out for the holidays. If it doesn't get used in the holiday season, you set it aside. An unexpected birthday will catch you by surprise. You've got the gift. Somebody's retiring at work. You've got an extra little gift. So it never hurts to keep a few little generic presents around. As I say, don't go crazy over it, but it's the thought that counts, and it's always a good idea to make sure, if you are entertaining, that you've made provisions for the unexpected guests. Consider confining your holiday decorations to a few small areas of your home. A bowl of pine cones on the dining table, maybe a nice floral centerpiece on the sideboard, a garland on the mantel. Don't feel obligated to decorate your entire house for the holiday season. It doesn't take much to convince people that you are in the holiday spirit. You don't have to have a wreath on every window and a bow on every chair cover. It's easy enough. Well, as I said, a bowl of pine cones. My neighbor Jane has evergreen trees in her backyard. And I'm always free to go over there with a plastic bag and scoop up the debris. Keep in mind, the debris out of her yard, take it home, throw it in a bowl and say, look, Christmas decorations. For those of us in the Northeast, it's easy because we have Christmas decorations in our backyard when the evergreens start dropping their cones. But in other parts of the country, there are also things you can easily do. A length of ribbon from a craft store will turn almost anything into a Christmas decoration. You don't have to go crazy, but I think a lot of us start looking around our homes, around Thanksgiving time and say, well, we got to do something and get it into the holiday season. And, we're imagining Chevy Chase and the Griswold Christmas, that giant nightmare of flashing lights. You don't have to do that. It's not important to create that much chaos in your life. And you don't want to have to be packing all of this stuff away at the end of the season either, because that is more clutter, more storage. A bowl of pine cones, a little bow here or there, they can be tossed out when the season ends. And what are you losing? You're losing something that started off as trash in your neighbor's backyard. So, we're halfway through our list now. Now let's move on to dinner. If you are planning a big holiday meal, and this is a huge source of stress for many people, consider working backwards. Now, what I mean by that is start with the time at which you would like dinner on the table. You're planning a big meal Christmas Day. Let's say you want dinner on the table at 3 o'clock. I don't know if that's standard, but we're pulling that out of the air, so let's go with it. Then start working backwards. When does the turkey need to come out of the oven in order to have it ready for 3 o'clock? Now, in most cases, the turkey's going to have to come out of the oven and rest for a while. So, the turkey doesn't come out at 3. The turkey's going to have to come out earlier. What about things like casseroles, vegetables, and work backwards? Take the time at which everything should be ready and then calculate backwards to how long it's going to take to get there. Now, this is going to vary widely depending on what you put on your table for dinner, what time you want the dinner ready, and things like that. But it will help the planning a lot. Most of us tend to think linearly. In other words, we start off with, what do I need to do to get ready in the morning for that 3 o'clock dinner? And that's not the most productive way to do it. We should start to think backwards from the time the dinner should be ready. And then just work in the opposite direction. It will help a great deal in planning. And when you have your timetable, by the way, do not be afraid to pick up a pen and piece of paper and write this stuff down if you can't hold it in your head. Once you start to see your timetable work out, then you can determine the things that you need to double up, the dishes that can be in the oven simultaneously, the time you will need to start the crock pot, the time you can turn the crock pot off and allow things to sit there and continue to stay warm. So think about that. It's just a different way of looking at it, but it can save you a lot of headache in the long run. Another headache-eliminating option is consider a potluck dinner. If you're having friends and family over, keep in mind, everybody has their own favorite little dish. It's not Christmas without great-grandma's relish recipe on the table. Whatever. And we all have our own dishes that we're particularly proud of. Things that we feel we do well. We get compliments on it. If you do a potluck, you're not only farming out the work, but you're farming out some of the joy of Christmas holiday dinner preparation, because you're giving people the chance to show off their own favorite recipes. So don't look at it as I'm making you work. Look at it in terms of I am giving Cousin Sarah the opportunity to bring her fantastic macaroni casserole that everybody raves about. I am giving my brother-in-law the opportunity to bring that pumpkin pie he loves to make. It's not a chore for everybody to do it, and the few people on your list who will consider it a chore, fine, they don't have to bring anything. But we'll get into some options for them in a moment. So next up, and this is the option for people who don't want to participate in potluck, don't shy away from store-bought foods. Nobody is ever going to look back on a holiday meal and say it was ruined because Mom bought the apple pie at the store instead of making it from scratch. Nobody's ever going to look at that. This is not a thing. It is a thing in the minds of women of my generation, because we were told that holidays were the time that we should do our baking and we should cook from scratch and we should do this and that. And, you know, it was that Susie homemaker mentality we were raised with. Now, it's perfectly fine to go to a store and buy something pre-cooked. The holidays shouldn't make you crazy. Not all of us have the kinds of kitchens that our mothers and grandmothers had. My grandmother's kitchen was the biggest room in her house. Everybody lived their life around that kitchen table. That was all there was to it. So times have changed. Women are not at home in the kitchen the way they were in Grandma's day. Not everybody wants to cook. Not everybody has a kitchen set up for cooking. And when you consider that most of us do not cook dinner for the 12 to 20 people who may be showing up for the holidays on a regular basis, buying something from the store is probably going to be the smartest and safest option. And as I say, nobody is ever going to look at that store-bought chocolate cake or pecan pie and say, well, that just ruined Christmas for me. Give yourself a break. Take the easy way out when you can. It's more about having the time to spend with your guests. Another option is to consider having your big meal on Christmas Eve instead. This is actually becoming a bigger thing with people these days than it was years ago when I was young. When I was a young person, everything was about Christmas Day. Christmas Eve celebrations are becoming more relevant to the upcoming generations because many of them simply want to sit around the house in their slippers and jammies on Christmas Day. Christmas Eve, however, they're perfectly willing to get in the car and drive off to their sister-in-law's house for Christmas dinner. It's a different way of celebrating, but it is resonating with more and more people lately. There's no reason why you can't have a Christmas Eve celebration that is just as meaningful and then save Christmas morning so that families can spend the time with their immediate circle, with the kids getting up and opening presents under their own Christmas tree instead of being over at Grandma's house. People can get up and, like I say, veg around in their pajamas and their slippers. It's an option more and more people are choosing, and the people who do it really seem to enjoy it. So, consider it. It's just another way of, well, shaking things up, doing things a little different, and who knows, this could end up making a new tradition for your family. So, our final tip, which may well be the most valuable tip I have to offer, is start your Christmas shopping the day after Christmas. So, we're looking at Christmas 2025. Start your 2026 Christmas shopping on December 26th. That's when all the stores are putting the Christmas decorations and the gift wraps and the cards and the gift bags and whatever on deep, deep discount. If you prepare in advance, get gift bags. That will absolutely cut down on the stress of getting all your presents wrapped. If you are going to be wrapping presents for Christmas 2026, buy the wrapping paper at the end of December 2025 when you can get the best bargains on it. This is the time of year when everything is not just going on sale, but getting bombed out because they really, really want to get this merchandise off their floors before the end of the year. It's just that simple. And this is a great opportunity for those of us who can manage to take advantage of the sales, plan a little early, get things out of the way well in advance. That, by the way, this is the time of year when I will buy my Christmas cards because, frankly, I like fancy cards. I like expensive Christmas cards, but I don't like paying expensive prices. So I will go into the stores in mid to the end of December, and then I start looking for my fancy Punch Studio cards because I do love them, and I'm finding them on discount. I'm finding them on sale, and I have them for next year. So next year, remember from my previous problem, next year, the beginning of November, before the Christmas cards are on sale, I can start putting up those cards that I need to send overseas. And I won't be looking at, well, the dilemma I'm looking at this year saying, am I going to get everything out on time? So consider that. You can take advantage of the sales. And also, if you buy your Christmas presents throughout the year, you won't be stuck with that mad rush at the end of the year. It won't be painful because you'll be buying the presents one here, one there throughout the year, and there won't be that financial hit that, we all see when the credit card bills come in January. So this is the best time to get started. Prepare in advance for next year. So that is my final tip. I hope some of these have been useful. I've gathered these from all kinds of sources, and a lot of them are from young people who are celebrating the holidays differently. Things that left to my own devices wouldn't have even entered my mind. So let's see if we can cut the stress this year. Hopefully, we'll be prepared and we'll cut the stress even more next year so that when the holidays roll around, you can sit back and enjoy them instead of feeling stressed out or depressed or gloomy. So that is what I have for you today. We are going to take a look at a slideshow on the way out. I hope to see you all again next time. And in the meanwhile, have a terrific and stress-free day.